Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and I just want to take a moment to talk about this whole immigration ban by Donald Trump. This really is beyond the pale. Now, let's separate this into different layers. Okay, the first piece is that he is doing a religious test on refugees, basically saying that Christian refugees will be prioritized over all other refugees as far as allowing them to find refuge in the United States. While the whole religious test thing bothers me quite a bit, that's one thing. Step two, he says we're going to basically ban entrance into the United States by people from certain countries. So basically, there's like Yemen, Libya, whatnot, and this is technically not too far akin from something that Rand Paul proposed, where he wanted to limit visas, particularly student visas, from people from certain countries. So not necessarily all Muslims, but people from certain countries where terrorism is more so there than not. Okay, so and this is very similar to what Donald Trump has done in a sense, but there's an extra wrinkle to it that makes it really bad. So one thing is to say we're going to limit visas to uncertain countries or place, even though again I still think that's necessarily a bad move, because then what happens is not that the people who you're worried about coming here will still come here. They're just going to come here illegally. Okay, if terrorists want a terror, they're going to terror. They'll just find a different way. And at the same time, you create incentives or you create a marginal more likeliness for people to become radicalized here when they see those actions being taken. So then you create the likeliness of domestic terrorism a little higher, because that hostility towards the administration, that visual, those optics of sort of an anti-Muslim administration are just greater, and he's feeding into it. But what really goes beyond the pale is that he says that even applies to green card holders. That means people who are already legally allowed in the United States. They've done the paperwork. They were already cleared. So basically, if you're a green card holder, like my mom was for several years, she's a citizen now, and you left the country into one of those countries that are on the list, and you tried to come back, there's a good chance they might not let you in the country. So that means you might actually live here and you're not allowed to come back home. That is beyond the pale. If you're not allowed to come back to your own property, that's beyond the pale. Now, bottom line, this is all in the name of security, in the name of trying to reduce terrorism and the growth of terrorism. But you're missing the point. As I discussed when I was running for U.S. Senate, if you want to get rid of something, or you want to reduce something like terrorism, you don't just kill terrorists or prevent terrorists from coming there, because you're not addressing the underlying problem. Why do the terrorists exist in the first place? Okay, part one, because people were in a position in their life where they were sort of primed to be radicalized. It's one, so you have to address the context in which people exist. And two, are the financial resources. Now, so on that front, the financial resources side, you can make a dent into that by addressing the drug war, because a lot of that money that comes from the illegal gun trade does go to terrorism and other very dangerous organizations. By bringing that into, free markets for what now are illegal drugs, you can pull that money out of that market and pull that money away from terrorism. At the same time, reducing our intervention overseas will prevent at least the optics of America being a target. Okay, in the sense that a lot of the interventions that not just us, but other countries around the world have done in the Middle East, they create optics. Again, if you're that person who's living in the Middle East and then you see your friend get bombed, you're not thinking, well, what's the overall context? What was this natural battle? All you see is that a bomb killed your cousin, your friend, and that does something to you. That makes you more likely to be radicalized. And if you have family, or you empathize with what's going on there, that's going to make you more likely to be radicalized. So the less we're sort of involved in that region in general, the less likely that a lot of that radicalization necessarily makes us the target. and then again you can also reduce the funds, and also will grow less, because the less intervention, the less those new generations of terrorists get created. You can't do anything about people who are already radicalized. Yes, you're gonna have to face them on the battlefield and whatnot, but you want to be very careful to not radicalize new, or create an environment to radicalize new people. At the same time, reduce their resources by addressing the drug trade, and through there you've done a huge step in moving in the right direction, instead of doing what we're doing, which, if you fight drugs even harder, you just increase the cost of drugs, which increase the profits for the drug trade. And then if you just fight them more front end, more physical, purely offensive kind of assault like we're seeing now, you're just going to radicalize them more, and you just make the problem worse. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. My name's Alex Merced. Check out alexmerced.com. Thank you for enjoying a video by Alex Merced, bringing you principled, thoughtful, and accessible commentary on today's issues. Show your support by becoming a monthly patron at patreon.com/alexmerced. There are special benefits depending on the level of your monthly gift. Find great deals on web hosting, podcast hosting, and more over there at libertydeal.info. Also check out Alex Merced's recommended reading list at books.alexmerced.com, and while you're there, pick up some other great stuff at amazon.com. For other options for support, such as one-time PayPal donations and Bitcoin donations, go to support.alexmerced.com. Make sure to follow Alex Merced on these other social media platforms.